Yeah, so we were interested to look at play behavior for bears, basically because of 1 year, and that was 2014. We saw some very interesting behavior at the field site where I conduct research, which is on the west coast of Canada. I'm based in an estuary habitat, and what we actually noticed was that we had multiple bears that were coming into this one estuary area at one time, and there was lots of food around. It was a really high salmon return that year, so there was lots of food, and we started to notice bears playing together. In the past, we'd seen bears playing before. Cubs will play with one another, sometimes siblings. Even after they've left their mom, they'll still sometimes stay together for a while, and we'd seen those bears playing together. But this play behavior was slightly different. This was playing between individuals that we knew weren't related because we'd seen each of them growing up individually. And this was also play behavior between adult bears and younger bears. So we saw some play between an adult female bear and a young male bear. And we hadn't seen this type of play before. And we were really interested to study it and try and understand what was going on and why we were seeing this play behavior in this year and why we hadn't seen it previously. And that led us to believe that some of this play behavior was related to how much food there was around at the time, and that it does have a lot to do with food availability and abundant food. Um, so when we documented this play behavior in 2014, it really opened my eyes to the flexibility of bear behavior. And that was kind of a breakthrough moment for me, because these bears, brown bears, are technically not social animals. So we were really interested to see them playing together in a way that you would expect to see from social animals. So it really opened my eyes to how flexible their behavior can be, and has led on to further research since then as well. We believe that by playing together that they gain information about other individuals. So similar to the way that scent communication works, actually, but this is in real time. So we believe that they may come together and to play, to understand and learn about other bears, potentially to learn about their own physical ability, particularly for younger bears as they're growing. Um, but also from our research, we believe that it could also be to do with reducing stress. So if you have multiple bears in one area, perhaps feeding in one area, congregated into what we call an aggregation, by playing together, they may be able to reduce the stress that's involved with being in such close proximity to other bears, but doing it in a very low risk way. So there's no risk of injury to themselves or the other bear. And play behavior does kind of imitate regular fighting behavior, but it's generally less aggressive, and there are also no vocalizations too. So that's one way that you can identify when a bear is playing. They use a lot of the same postures as they would do for fighting, but it's a lot more gentle, and we don't see any vocalizations.